Hello, my name is Christine, and I'm one of your generous giving advisors for Truro Diocese. Today, we want to think about focusing our thoughts on generosity as part of our discipleship. But I want to start first by showing a short video which gives a general foundation of the work we as generous giving advisors aim to do. And it's based on the acronyms MINT and IDEA.
Generosity is at the heart of our faith. And the generosity we show is testament to a lived out faith and our generous God. The God that so loved the world, he gave his only Son. The ministry and mission of the Church of England is largely funded through the incredible generosity of those who give to it. In order to cultivate this generosity within our church, we need both the right environment and the right culture. There are simple steps we can take to encourage generosity. The most important is the first, to pray that God may give us the spiritual gift of generosity so that we increasingly reflect the generosity of God in our ministry and mission. Because, as the Bible tells us, generosity will result in thanksgiving to God. We need to create an environment that encourages people to give, and to do this we need to get 4 things in place. And we use the acronym MINT for these. Mechanisms are the tools that allow giving to take place, such as direct debit, contactless payment, online legacies, gift aid, and so on. The impact of people's giving needs to be explained, how it enables the Church's ministry and mission. The need for people to give must be shown, so they can see where their help is needed and how important it is that they give. And trust must be built, so that people have confidence that the Church will spend their gifts wisely and well. If you have these 4 elements in place, then you have created the best environment for people to give. We also need to cultivate a generous culture, where we grow in an understanding of God's generosity towards us and share that generosity through our ministry and mission. To grow a generous culture, there are 4 areas to focus on, and we use the acronym IDEA for these. Inspire people through generous leadership and by celebrating generosity within the life of the Church. Disciple members through resources, teaching and learning, so people can grow in an understanding of God's generosity towards them and how they can live generous lives. Embed generosity in the life of the Church, in its plans, services and ministry, and weave it into everything it does. Activate generosity by providing opportunities for people to grow in generosity and apply what they have discovered. But you aren't alone in this. The National Giving Team is here to support you as you build your generous church. On our website you will find a wide variety of resources, guidance and inspiration for encouraging giving to your church and for growing generosity within it. Thank you, and God bless you for everything you give to the Church's ministry and mission.
So, as well as the National Giving Team being available to support you and to help you, we as the Diocesan Generous Giving Team are also available. We can help you in any areas of this work. So you may have already been familiar with the acronyms MINT and IDEA, which have been the basis of the work of the Generous Giving Team over the last few years. We've been focusing a lot on MINT, which, as the video showed, is about creating an environment of generosity in which people are given the mechanisms to enable them to give, understand the need of the church and community and the impact their giving has, and in which they trust their church leaders, seeing how their money is being spent and how the vision of the church is being realised. So a lot of our work over recent years has been around mechanisms. So that's the M in MINT. So we've been looking at mechanisms such as contactless and digital giving and the parish giving scheme, amongst others. This work has been hugely encouraging. We now have 196 churches registered with PGS and 152 with a contactless device. And these are areas in which we'll continue to work. And so if you don't have these mechanisms or others in your church or would like to learn how to use them more effectively, do get in touch with us and we can help you to do this. So in 2026, we aim to shift our main focus a little to the IDEA acronym. We want to work to inspire people and churches to be generous and encourage them to understand that generosity is part of their discipleship and a response to their generous God. In our churches, we should try to embed generosity, weaving it into everything that we're doing, being generous in our worship, our church, our local community, and in the way we live our lives. And in this way, we can develop a culture of generosity in the church. So I'd like to hand over now to my colleague Michael, who will look into this IDEA acronym in a little more detail.
Thank you, Christine. Yes, my name is Michael, and I am the other generous giving advisor here at the diocese. So we believe that so many of our churches here in Truro Diocese have already started to create an environment of generosity by using Mint. Now we want to begin to grow a culture of generosity in our churches. This is in light of knowing that we have a generous God who we want to become like. And we can do this by exploring IDEA and try to implement each part into the life of our church. So our focus as your generous giving advisors this year will be to help you to think about and implement ways to create a generous culture, whilst continuing to support you in all the work that we already do. Now let's dive a bit deeper into IDEA and see what our focus will be in supporting you. So firstly, inspire. So a culture change starts with its leaders, and we want to support you in having a positive and bold approach in speaking about generosity and leading with generous hearts in your church. One example of how we can help you to inspire is by hosting a generosity fika, which is a brilliant course that is normally run in a cafe church setting, but it can be adapted to suit your needs. And there are so many other fantastic ways to inspire, and we're excited to share those with you this year. Next is disciple. As well as leaders living generously, we need to teach about it too. We are creating a fantastic leaflet of resources all about how to create a generous culture, such as having small group Bible studies, which we'll be able to share with you later on. Using these resources, which are very accessible and well thought out, you can begin to teach your church to grow in generosity. Then we move on to embed. We want to further encourage you to not shy away from speaking about generosity and giving in all that you do, because we believe generosity should be at the heart of God's community. We want to encourage you to think about how you can weave generosity into all you do, and we're excited to share stories from church leaders and members this year to encourage you. And lastly, activate. There are so many churches who provide opportunities for their community to be generous, such as flower festivals and many other fundraisers, which we love to see. We want to support churches who don't know where to start with activating generosity, and work alongside churches who are activating generosity already to see how they can get the most from what they're doing. So the last thing really to say is thank you. Christine and I are so excited for 2026. We feel inspired by the fantastic work to create an environment of generosity that the churches of our diocese have already done. And we can't wait to continue to come alongside you and support you in all that you do already. And we especially want to encourage and equip you to inspire, disciple, embed, and activate a culture of generosity this year and beyond.